What's up, everybody? Steve Maggiora here, and I've got a really fun track for you to mix. It's called Mars. It's a cover song from an artist called Youngblood, who is very talented, really beautiful song. And Kim and I, my lovely girlfriend Kim and I, did a duet version of this, and it was tracked internationally. We did the piano here in the San Francisco Bay Area at my place, and we did the vocals in Paris, France at her place. We got some really great mics from Pro Deep Audio and Guitars, and we ended up using those on this recording. So you get to check out these mics and what they do in their finest. We got a stereo pair of the Pro Deep A1s that are small diaphragm condenser mics that we used on the piano, and then the Pro Deep STC 3D MK2 that we used on vocals and as the room mic for the piano. So let's just check it out. So check out the way that I mic this. It was a little bit different. What I did was the arrangement itself is not super wide, right? What I decided to do is I decided to, instead of having a super wide spread on the microphones with the A1s, I decided to tighten it up a little bit. I ended up putting the right microphone just about in the middle of where the highest note that I was going to be playing was. So it's not picking up the super wide thing. I just kind of brought it into the middle, and I think it sounds really great. The left hand, the low end mic is kind of, on this piano, you've got the strings kind of overlay like this, right? And so I've got it kind of a little more towards the edge because this left hand's getting really heavy in this left hand area. And it's these big just boom, boom. And I wanted it to be as wide as possible between the two microphones, just playing with the spread, you know, because if you're going all the way up the piano, then it makes sense to have something over there. But because the highest note that I'm playing stops here, I want that microphone to be right here so that when I spread everything out, that's where it's getting to. It's not going beyond and then the highest note is somewhere in here. You can hear a little bit more of like, oh, the high end's over here, the low end's over here. And I think it accomplished that pretty well. But let me know what you think in the comments below. So the room mic, the STC 3D MK2 from Pro Deep, I ended up putting about maybe 7 feet away from the piano at about chin height. I wanted it to capture like if I was listening in the room and just standing in the room watching somebody play. I always try to think of microphones as like, you know, the listening point. Like if I were to listen to this, what does it sound like to me and where am I in the space to be able to hear it that way? I think it works great for piano, and I really like this mono room recording. I obviously, you know, I live here, so there's a heater, there's an ice machine. I had to turn off the ice machine and the fridge and the heater and make sure that it was pretty quiet. I actually had to take the batteries out of my clock so it wasn't going tick, tick, tick. But I think it gives a sense of ambiance. It gives a sense of like, you know, I'm here in this space. It's an environment. So the STC 3D MK2 is about 7.5 feet away from the piano, pointed directly at the piano. Check them out. Pro Deep, thank you so much for these microphones. They are great, and I'm going to use them a lot. And I hope that you guys check them out and let me know what you think. We also tracked this. It was my first recording using the Audient Evo 16, which was fantastic. One of these days, when I'm tracking piano, I'll show you my whole setup. But the auto gain function on the Evo 16 just absolutely made my life so much easier. My studio's in the back, a 16-channel snake that's running under the house, so I can record the piano in here, have a little bit of separation if there's another client coming in. And it was just really nice to be able to just hit the button and then walk over here and just play the piano and not have to go back and forth 80 times to try to figure out where the gain structure should be. And I went back and I checked it. I'm like, no way this is this easy. And it was. I'm so very happy about that. Audient, you guys are kicking so much butt. So now that you've seen how we set it up, let me show you how it sounds. So let's just start with the piano here. So this is just the A1s, and I'm going to take off everything that I put on here, and we'll just listen to the pianos by themselves. So as you can see, this is a very dynamic performance. I think I did this all in one take because we were actually filming a video which is out now that you can go check out on YouTube. So here's just the mics themselves, right? And then we've got the mono room mic here. I take everything off of here. This is a large diaphragm condenser about 7 feet back. And then what I ended up doing was I went through and I added some plugins to this. So let's see what we got. First off, just check out the room piano, right? So here's the room piano just by itself. Little channel EQ. It's just dipping out a little 122 because there was a little flip the phase on it. And the virtual mix rack on the piano preset. Compressor and the Infinity EQ from Slate Digital on the acoustic piano setting without. Just giving a little bit more girth in the middle. On the actual piano itself, we've got, again, a channel EQ. I was messing around with gain here just to check things are in phase. I don't typically measure things out. I'm much more of a kind of throw and go kind of guy when it comes to recording. So sometimes things are out of phase and sometimes they just work naturally. So I left the compressor off on this and we can just check out what is here. Again, same thing that I put on the mono room. And then I added the analog channel. Squeeze it down a little bit. Another channel EQ. And that's the piano sound. And I think it sounds great. It's nice and full. Next up, we have the vocals. So we've got Kim's vocal and my vocal. The reason that they are in summing stacks right now is because I actually had multiple ones in there from comping the takes. So I ended up comping in the stack and then I tuned and I had them there so that if I needed to go back, I could do so. The only thing that I've really thrown on these summing stacks, which I've also made mono, by the way. You can toggle the mono and stereo using this little button right here. So I just kept these mono. And then I've got my go-to chain, which you can see here. It's sibilants, wave sibilants, which I love for de-essing. Virtual mix rack on the warm vocals preset. A compressor, an adaptive limiter, another compressor, just getting everything just nice and brr right there. And a couple channel EQs just to notch out some frequencies that I don't like, and the R box. So here's the vocals just themselves, back to back.
17, had the saddest pair of eyes that you ever seen. Were them lips in the cold, it was matching green. But she can't be herself when she's somebody else.
In the morning she would take her mother's wedding ring, but school got pretty tough when they see it gleam. So just the microphone here. Under the mezzanine, reenacting scenes.
Yeah. She dreamed she'd go to California, there everyone would adore her.
And all the mates will call her till 4 in the morning. And then we've got it sending to the short ambience. We've got it sent to a little plate. We've got it sent to a couple delays. And then the Valhalla Vintage Verb and the Slate Digital Verb Suite Classics 250 Vocal Perfection. My go-to.
Become a better man. All this therapy, it's a way gently hit the side of a mind that she never had.
Yeah, the story told you many times, it makes me sad. A better author made a fortune on her autograph. Give her her money back. The piano.
She dreamed she'd go to California, there everyone would adore her, and all her mates will call her till 4 in the morning. Is there any life on Mars? Is there any life on Mars? Any life on Mars? Yeah, yeah.
And then I ended up adding in a bass synth. I used the basement bass from Logic Pro, which on here I'm just giving you the audio for that, but it does come stock with Logic. And I didn't bring it in until the bridge here, and I just wanted it to kind of creep in and then just end up, by the time it gets to the last chorus, just be subtle in underneath, just providing a little bit of foundation here. So
Mars, any life on Mars, any life on Mars.
So it's this really nice just sub bass synth here. And then what we have is all of the background vocals. I quad tracked everything here, and it's a lot of pads, right? It's oohs, and then I think I did like ma, and just instead of saying the full Mars, just doing ma, 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 and all that stuff. I just built it up, so you've got 3-part background vocals here, again, with the Pro Deep, and we can just listen to these. We'll stack them up. And again, it's my go-to vocal chain. I did use the Waves tune on this, set to just major in B.
Is there any life on Mars? Any life on Mars? Oh. Is there any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars? So that's the track. It's very simple as far as the arrangement's concerned, and the instrumentation is concerned. I did do a couple little clever things in here, including a little reverse piano. There's this part at the end of the first chorus that did not have a reverse piano in there, and I do not own a reverse piano. Unfortunately, I would love to own a reverse piano, but this is what is here, right?
Yeah, yeah. Every morning she would wake up with another plan.
So I did it 2 ways, right? I took a little snapshot here. I took the piano room, and this is just a little fun trick that I do. I always go a little bit before and a little bit after. We'll just do a bar on either side, right? And then, so Command T will trim your region where you want, and then Control B will be able to bounce a region in place. And what that means is that it's just going to take what you've selected and just make a new audio file with it. So I'm going to leave the source. I'm going to leave the track there. And I'm just going to do, let's call this reverse piano, right? And we're going to just do that. Boom, that's there. Now what we can do is go into our edit bay, our edit window, which is the quick key E. And if you go to track, you can mess around with flex time and stuff. I'm going to go to file. Because we created a new file, go to function and then go to reverse. And it's going to reverse this entire file, right? Now, because I have a little more than I need to on it, I don't need the whole thing. So I'm going to truncate this here, and I'm going to truncate that there, get rid of this. And now what we have is Let me just add, if I've got I always have, most of the time, I have my secondary click on Logic to set to be the fade tool so that I can just hold down the control button, and then with my cursor, with my mouse, I can just go and very easily apply a fade. And then what you get is this. And now we have a reverse piano. I took it a step further though, and I ended up ramping in some, I did some volume automation on it. So I'm just going to undo this because we already have it. I did some volume automation on there. So without the automation, you can see it is just very nice and clean. With the volume automation, it gets a little more dramatic. And I've gone through and also added volume rides to the mono room and to the piano sum automation so that everything is just going evenly up and evenly down. And what you end up getting is this.
Every morning she would wake up with another plan.
Yeah, mom and dad, they couldn't. And another thing that I had a lot of fun doing is messing with the Sound Toys Crystallizer plugin. I think I also did it on the Such Great Heights cover that I also did with Kim. So I've included the print here as well as if you have the plugin, you can just use that. And I've got that here for you. So I've got the crystallizer here. It's coming in from bus 19, which is being fed off of the piano room mono, right? So the piano room's feeding the crystallizer here. And the crystallizer, I've got a high pass because, again, I just want that super sparkly niceness up over the top. And you can hear what it is doing. It's just adding in all of these little delays and little tasties up top. And as you can see, I've automated it so it doesn't come in until a certain point, and then it just kind of starts spinning around there. The background vocals are going, the vocals are going, the song is climaxing, and it's just this extra little sprinkles up on top of some nice little sonic stuff that then ends up fading off towards the end.
On Mars.
And it's just kind of trickling out here, right? Is there any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars? Any life on Mars?
Very happy with this track. I really hope that you guys enjoy it too. You've got all of the performances. You've got all of the raw tracks from everything, just as they came in to the microphone through the pre. You also have my preferred vocal chain in there listed under Steve chain. So you got no chain, Steve chain, and there's an AF file in there for those of you that would like to just plug it in, get all the automation and all that stuff, plus my entire Logic session file. You can just open it up and see what I'm doing. If you have all the plugins that I'm using are listed in the Sessions with Steve post. And you can check it. And if you've got it, then great. If you have something comparable, it's going to be really easy for you to switch it out. And again, big thanks to ProDeep, big thanks to Audient for just making some amazing gear. It's been really fun to work with. And make sure, if you need a vocalist, if you need piano on anything, hit up Kim, hit up me. We all love working. We love what we do. And we could also do that for you and your project. So don't hesitate to reach out and make sure to comment below, tag us and stuff. And happy mixing. Thanks so much for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next one.